Picture this. You're on Etsy browsing for a sewing pattern and you find one that is super cute, only $2. So what do? You buy it and you download it, you print it, tape it, and nothing's working. Nothing aligns. You try to sew it, the sizing is all off, the instructions are terrible. What happened? You maybe got caught in an AI scam almost. So we are seeing more and more AI generated sewing patterns pop up on places like Etsy, and more people are getting scammed. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Izzy, and on this channel I just love to share what I'm learning in this fabulous sewing hobby of ours. Alright, in today's video I want to talk about AI generated patterns, but also, here's the thing. A lot of you have told me that you are either brand new to sewing or you've come back to garment sewing after a long break and you're not quite sure where to begin in terms of buying PDF or indie patterns and feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So in today's video, first of all, I want to reassure you about buying indie patterns, but I also want to give you a few red flags to look out for so that you don't get stuck paying good money and then cutting into good fabric only to realize the pattern is pure garbage. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so let's very quickly talk about indie patterns in general and why I love to sew them. So it's really important that I give you all of the good things about indie patterns, and then we're going to talk about some of the red flags to look out for, because I don't want you to get scared about buying a PDF pattern or an indie pattern, because some indie pattern companies out there are amazing. So if you're used to, sewing with Big Four before, when you were sewing years and years ago, and aren't familiar with indie patterns, based on personal experience, indie patterns have typically bigger size ranges. They have really fun modern designs. Their instructions, for the most part, there are still some companies that their instructions are a little sparse, but for the most part, instructions are really good. So the issue or the problem here really isn't indie pattern companies. The issue is that with AI making things so easy for scammers to just throw a prompt into a computer and have the AI generate a bogus document not based in any sewing science or art. There are just a few things to look out for, but overall, in general, indie pattern companies are reliable, they're knowledgeable, a lot of them are sewists themselves, they understand it, they give excellent customer support, so nothing to be afraid of. Like I said, just a few things to look out for. All right, red flag number one. The pattern listing has beautiful, almost unrealistic photos of the garment on an almost unrealistic body with some really fancy backdrops. Believe you me, no indie pattern company has the kind of money it would take to set up all of these photo shoots in all of these different settings. It's just not happening. Look for AI clues, basically, when you're looking at images. Are there 10 fingers? I recently looked at a pattern listing, and unfortunately somebody might have taken it down because I can't find it anymore because I wanted to bring it up here. But the model has her hands around her waist like this, and only 3 of the 5 fingers have nail polish. The other ones have nail polish, but it's all the way down here. So you can see that AI like the image generation struggled a little bit. So pay attention to the image. Is the garment on a real person with a real body with a background that makes sense? Are there any tester photos? So can you see the garment on a bunch of different people who have made it? So look for realistic photos and definitely look for the AI clues always left behind on the photos. Red flag number 2, no reviews. Or there are some reviews, but every single one only says, great pattern, no problems downloading. Or, well, I haven't made this up yet, but so far it's been a great experience. So look for reviews of real people who've actually made up the garment, and that's important. If possible, look for photos that people have uploaded when they reviewed the pattern. Look for a social media presence by the pattern company. Are they on Instagram? Are you able to look for and search for some of their patterns on Instagram? Do they have a Facebook group? Many of the indie pattern companies that I purchased from have a Facebook community. So is there one for this pattern company that you are considering? Look for like prints of them everywhere. On social media, do a Google search for the pattern company. If they have the Etsy shop and nothing else, chances are they are scammers and all of their patterns are AI generated. So look for traces that humans have actually made the garment and were successful with it. Red flag number 3, the instructions make no sense. And when I say instructions, it's the pattern description. Is it in proper English, if it's, in English, or proper French or whatever? Does it look like it was translated super quick and dirty? And if you can't understand the description, how on earth are you going to understand the instructions within the pattern? So look for, was it AI translated? Does it even sound like the person who wrote the pattern description or the instructions has even sat at a sewing machine? So there's language that we all know and trust. Look for that language. Look for a good description of the pattern. Look to make sure that the details are described properly, because AI generated patterns may not use the proper wording, the proper language. And again, if it's not reviewed, if a translation is not reviewed by a human, then it's going to be all over the place. So look for those. That's definitely an important red flag, because if you can't understand the instructions, it might be a little bit difficult for you to get that pattern sewn up. And finally, red flag number 4, the price is too good to be true. Let's face it, indie pattern designers spend hours and hours and hours drafting, grading, designing their patterns. They then send it to be tested and validated. They make changes to it. They publish and send it for another round of testing. No indie pattern company in the world would be able to put out 100 new patterns in a year, which some of these AI scammers, they have a brand new shop on Etsy. The shop opened 2 weeks ago, and yet they have 200 patterns in their catalog. Something doesn't make sense. So if an indie pattern company is able to offer hundreds and hundreds of patterns in a short amount of time and then sell them to you for $1.99, that's a red flag. That should definitely raise some questions for you. So most of the reliable indie pattern companies that I've purchased from, their prices range from 10 to 20, sometimes even $25, depending on how many views, how many details, their sizing, all of that good stuff. So I've rarely seen indie pattern companies selling their patterns for $1.99 unless they were running a sale. So I have seen companies sell patterns for cheap, but it's not every pattern. It's not every single day. So I would be wary of a company that has a huge catalog that is always at $1.99 per pattern. So those were 4 red flags to look out for, not to get scammed by AI generated sewing patterns that just won't work for you. But what can you do to find good ones? Well, follow people you trust. I know that there are a ton of YouTubers out there, and we do pattern reviews, and we talk about our makes, and we talk about the pattern companies we love. Yeah, watch a bunch of different people, get inspiration from them, listen to their reviews. If you're interested in a pattern, go to the company's website, look at reviews they've had, look at tester photos, make sure that they are a real established company. I'm not a fan of Etsy. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I like to buy from companies that have their own website. That's just a me thing. I have something against Etsy, but you know, pattern companies like Cashmerette, like Love Notions, Itch to Stitch, Helen's Closet, Tilly and the Buttons, Stylark, they all have their own website. They all have tester photos. They all have multiple views. The sizing makes sense. The instructions are good. So yeah, get inspiration, and at least in the beginning, until you get a little more confident that you know how to find a good pattern, yeah, just watch for what people that you listen to or that you watch, see what they're doing and see what they're sewing and buying, and start there. And there you go, my little bit of advice for you on a Friday. If you're new to sewing, or if you're new to indie pattern companies, definitely be on the lookout for those red flags, and just, yeah, look for what other people are sewing. I would love to know, have you ever come across one of those scam or AI generated patterns? I would love to know. Please put that in the comments below. Or if you have other advice or other red flags to look out for, please let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching today's video. Please give it a thumbs up on your way out if you liked it. And if you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would absolutely love to have you here. Thanks again, and I will see you soon.